Hello everybody. Today in this video we are going to be discussing about the various clinical anatomies and the applied aspects of lower limb. So these are the various featured topics in the video today, starting from foot drop to the related terms and important resource pictures. So first, let's have a look into foot drop. What is foot drop? It is a difficulty in lifting the front part of the foot, which makes walking very challenging. And people with this symptom, they usually tend to walk by lifting the knee as if they were walking up the stairs. Foot drop is a very common symptom in the disease called as multiple sclerosis. In this, the immune system eats away the protecting covering of the nerves. What causes foot drop? If we see compression of a nerve by binding around the neck of the fibula, which is the common peroneal nerve. And foot drop is also a very common symptom in leprosy. Also, we can see that nerves may get entrapped between the attachments of peroneus longus and the shaft of the fibula. If you look into the signs and symptoms of foot drop, it is caused by the lesions or the neuritis of the common peroneal nerve. So it affects the sensory as well as the motor loss. Sensory loss in the interdigital cleft of the affected foot, and also the loss of power of dorsiflexion of ankle and the eversion of foot. See, like here is the interdigital cleft of the foot, and sensory loss here is caused by foot drop, and also causes hanging of foot from the leg. It causes numbness and the limp foot and tripping while walking. So these are the various applied aspects related to the foot drop. Next we have myalgia paresthetica. It is a condition characterized by tingling, numbness and burning in the outer part of the thigh. It is an injury which is caused due to the compression or the entanglement of the lateral cutaneous nerve of thigh in the inguinal ligament. See, as you can see, the marked area, which is the outer portion of the thigh, is affected by myalgia paresthetica. It is also the area where the lateral cutaneous nerve of thigh innervates the skin. Myalgia paresthetica can also be treated by local cortisone injections at the point where the nerve crosses the crease in the groin. Medications are commonly utilized, and infrequently surgical release of the nerve is very necessary. Deformities related to arches of foot. Here we have two of them. One is pes planus and pes cavis. Pes planus is also referred to as flat foot, and pes cavis is referred to as claw foot. Pes planus, we can say that there is an absence or the collapse of the arches of the foot. Whereas in case of pes cavis, there is an exaggeration of the longitudinal arches of the foot. In pes planus, we can say that it can be congenital or acquired. Whereas in the case of pes cavis, it is a symptom of diseases such as polio and spina bifida. As you can see in this picture, there's a complete collapse or absence of arches causing flat foot in the person. Whereas in this picture, there is an exaggeration in the longitudinal arches of the foot, and especially a superadding of the dorsiflexion of the metatarsophalangeal joints. Let us see the other deformities concerning the foot. Talipes equinus, patient walking on toes with the heel raised. Talipes calcaneus, patient walking on heel with the forefoot raised. Talipes varus, patient walking on the outer border of the foot with foot inverted. Talipes valgus, patient walking on the inner border of the foot with foot everted. Talipes equinovarus, also known as a club foot. It is a very common condition, and here foot is inverted, adducted, and also plantar flexed at the same time. Pott's fracture. Pott's fracture, also known as Pott's syndrome 1 or Dupuytren's fracture, is an archaic term loosely applied to a variety of bimalleolar ankle fractures. The injury is caused by a combined abduction, external rotation from an eversion force. It is usually very common in ages between 40 to 60 years, in which accidents causing forced medial rotation of thigh and leg occurs. See, this is the fibula, and this is the very common site of Pott's fracture. A Pott's fracture often occurs in combination with other injuries such as inversion injury, a dislocation of the ankle, or other fractures of foot, ankle, or lower leg. Sciatica, a disease which has more than 10 million cases per year in India itself, is a disease where pain along the cutaneous distribution of sciatic nerve occurs, especially along its terminal branches, that is a common peroneal nerve. In sciatica, the pain radiates starting from the gluteal region where the course of the sciatic nerve begins to the back of the thigh, the lateral side of leg, and finally till the dorsum of the foot. It usually is caused when a herniated disc or bone spur in the spine presses on the nerve roots or the compression of the nerve roots. See, as you can see, this is the course of the sciatic nerve in the lower limb. It starts at the gluteal region and passes along the back of the thigh, the lateral side of leg, and the dorsum of the foot. It usually affects only one side of the body, and the medications for pain and physiotherapy are common treatments for sciatica. Trendelenburg sign. It is basically a gait which is adopted by someone with an absent or a weakened hip adductor mechanism. What happens is usually that when the body weight is supported on one limb, the gluteus of that side usually raises the pelvis on the other side to support the body weight. But in positive Trendelenburg sign, this does not happen and a lurching gait is adapted. The causes of positive Trendelenburg sign are paralysis of the gluteal muscles, dislocation of hip, fracture at the neck of femur, and the defects of overweight, which can also cause Trendelenburg sign. A femoral hernia. A femoral hernia can also be called as a fermocele. If a portion of a tissue pushes through the wall of the femoral canal, it is called as a femoral hernia. It contains abdominal contents. A femoral hernia will appear as a huge bulge near the groin. Most femoral hernias do not cause any symptoms. However, they can occasionally lead to severe problems if the hernia obstructs or blocks the blood flow of the intestines. This is called as strangulated hernia and usually a medical emergency. It is a medical emergency and it requires immediate surgery. What is the course of enlarging of the hernia? It is very typical. First, it passes downwards through the femoral canal, then forwards through the saphenous opening, and finally upwards with the superficial epigastric and superficial iliac vessels. For the reduction of the hernia, a reverse course should be followed. Femoral hernia, if we see, is very common in women than men because of the wider pelvis and the small femoral vessels in females. Bursitis. Bursitis is a very painful condition that affects the small fluid-filled sacs called as bursae that cushion the bones, tendons, and muscles near the joints. Bursitis occurs when bursae become inflamed. Here we can see two types of bursitis called as housemaid's or miner's knee and the clergyman's knee. Housemaid's knee is also known as prepatellar bursitis and it is often due to excessive kneeling. Whereas clergyman's knee is called as subcutaneous infrapatellar bursitis. It is also caused due to kneeling or crawling. The symptoms are swelling and pain over the kneecap. Infrapatellar bursitis is relatively rare. Semimembranosus bursitis. The inflammation of the semimembranosus bursa is called as semimembranosus bursitis. It occurs as a semimembranous bursa on the medial side gets inflamed, whereas it is different from the Baker's cyst which appears in the midline. The bursa becomes more prominent during extension of knee and disappears during the flexion. See, this is called as the semimembranous bursitis, which is occurred on the medial side of the knee. Next, let's come to the tarsal tunnel syndrome. It is the pain in the sole, paralysis of intrinsic muscles of the sole. The causes of tarsal tunnel syndrome are the tibial nerve, which gets entrapped under the flexor retinaculum of ankle, or the compression of the medial and the lateral plantar nerves. It causes pain over the cutaneous innervation of the tibial nerve and the lateral and the medial plantar nerves. Coming to hip, there are many disorders related to the hip as well. Trochanteric fractures. They may be intertrochanteric or subtrochanteric in nature. These occur in a strong and adult subjects who undergo severe injuries. Perthes disease. It is a destruction and flattening of the head of the femur in accidents or various injuries. Coxa vara. The neck shaft angle of the femur is reduced from the normal angle. And in coxa valgia, the neck shaft angle of the femur is increased from the normal angle. The neck shaft angle is basically 150 degree in children and 127 degree in adults. Avascular necrosis of the head of the femur. The head of the femur is supplied by two arteries. One is a branch of the obturator artery, but the main arterial supply is from the retinacular arteries. If these arteries get blocked or injured in intracapsular fracture of neck of femur, this leads to the avascular necrosis of the head of the femur, as you can see in this picture. Weaver's bottom. Weaver's bottom is a form of bursitis, and it is caused usually by prolonged sitting on hard surfaces. In most cases, full recovery to activity will take at least 2 to 6 weeks, depending on the severity of the condition. As a preventive measure, individuals should make modifications in work or daily activitis to avoid prolonged pressure or unexpected blows on the ischial bursa. Weaver's bottom is also known as ischial bursitis. What is a bucket handle tear? A bucket handle tear is a full thickness tear of the meniscus that most often happens in the inner portion of the medial meniscus. According to a textbook of orthopedics, bucket handle tears occur 3 times more often in medial meniscus than the lateral one. Meniscus tears are very common injury to the knee and cause pain, swelling, and less mobility to the knee joint. Varicose ulcer. It's also called as a venous ulcer. It is a leg wound that happens when the leg veins do not circulate blood back towards the heart. Symptoms include swelling, aching, and tiredness in the legs. Usually a red irritated skin rash develops into an open wound. Treatment include leg elevation, compression, and wound care. Sometimes surgery is required. Blood can back up in the veins, building up pressure on the skin, which can cause an open sore to form. As you can see in this picture, an open wound is formed, and these are the varicose veins. March fracture. They are the name given to a subtype of fatigue or stretch fractures. They occur due to repeated concentrated trauma to a normal bone, especially in the second metatarsal bone of the foot. But it can also occur in the other weight-bearing bones of the lower limb. Have you come across this word called grafting? It basically means to attach one piece, which is a new one, onto an old one. In case of bone grafting, pieces that the subcutaneous medial aspect of tibia and shaft of fibula are used for obtaining pieces of bone. And in case of muscle grafting, gracilis muscle, being the most superficial in the adductor compartment, is often used for transplantation of any damaged muscle. Because of its various advantages, gracilis muscle transplantation became the most frequently used technique for reconstruction of smile in the long-standing irreversible facial palsy. Characterized by edema, hypertrophy, and fibrosis of skin due to obstruction of lymphatic vessels, first thing comes to our mind is elephantiasis. It is a tropical parasitic disease that affects the lymph node and the lymph vessels of the lower limb. The best way to prevent elephantiasis is to avoid mosquito bites. People who visit or live in countries at risk should sleep under a mosquito net, cover up their skin with long sleeves and trousers. Most importantly, the use of single doses of two drugs administered together, optimally albendazole with DEC, is 99% effective in removing microfilariae from the blood for a full year after treatment. It also affects genitalia and swells up the lower limb. Osteoarthritis. Osteoarthritis is the most common form of arthritis, affecting millions of people worldwide. Although osteoarthritis can damage any joint in the body, the disorder most commonly affects joints in your hands, knees, hips, and spine. It occurs when the protective cartilage that cushions the ends of your bones wears down over time. There are 5 stages in osteoarthritis. Stage 0, which is normal. Stage 1, which is minor. Stage 2, mild. Stage 3, moderate. And stage 4, severe. What is a Baker's cyst? Baker's cyst is a central swelling occurring due to osteoarthritis in the knee joint. The synovial membrane protrudes through the hole in the posterior part of the capsule of the hip joint. Unlike semimembranosus bursitis, which occurs on the medial side of the knee, this occurs in the midline in the posterior aspect. The deformities of foot. Hallus valgus, also known as the claw toe. This is how it looks like. And it happens especially due to the ill-fitting shoes. And the great toe is more affected and it gets pushed laterally. The adventitious bursa develops over the head of the first metatarsal bone. And this is buddy splint. As you can see, the fractured toe is bandaged to the adjacent toe. Piriformis syndrome, occurring due to the irritation of the sciatic nerve by the piriformis muscle in the buttocks. Piriformis syndrome is a disorder of a narrow muscle located in the buttocks. Symptoms include pain, tingling, or numbness in the buttocks and down the leg, which may worsen after sitting for a very long time, climbing stairs, walking, or running. Treatment includes stretching exercises, massages, anti-inflammatory drugs, or surgery. Osteomyelitis is the infection of the bone. As you can see in this picture, this is the picture of the knee joint. This is the portion where osteomyelitis has occurred. And it is also very common in the upper end of the tibia, which is a very common site for acute osteomyelitis. Infections can reach the bone by traveling through the bloodstream or spreading from the nearby tissues. Common symptoms include pain in the joint or the bone and fever, chills. Treatment is usually surgery to remove the portions of the bone that have died. So coming to the end of the video, here we have few important terms which are related to the clinical anatomies and applied aspects of lower limb. What is Q angle? Q angle is the angle formed by the intersection of the lines drawn from the anterior superior iliac spine to the center of the patella and from the center of the patella to the tibial tubercle. It is usually 15 to 20 degrees. Bone marrow biopsy. Iliac crest is used for taking bone marrow biopsy, especially in cases of leukemia and anemia. Ligation. The femoral artery being quite superficial in its nature, it is used for ligation. And the catheters are even passed upwards till the heart for minor operations from the femoral artery. Sciatic nerve block. Sciatic nerve block is a nerve block that uses local anesthesia to achieve analgesia in the leg. It is done by injecting an anesthetic agent 1.5 centimeters below the midpoint of the line, joining the posterior superior iliac spine and the upper border of the greater trochanter. Popliteal pressure. Like we have pressure in the upper limb, we also have pressure in the lower limb, and it can be recorded using the popliteal artery. Sudden occlusions of the artery may cause gangrene up to knee, but this is usually prevented by the collateral circulation through the profunda brachii artery. And now if you ask me what is collateral circulation, it is an alternate circulation around the blocked artery or vein via another path, such as nearby minor vessels. Calf pump. In the upright position of the body, venous return from lower limb largely depends on the contraction of the calf muscles. These muscles are therefore called as calf pump. Calf pump is also known as the peripheral heart of the body. Shenton's line. Shenton's line is a curve. As you can see, this is called as Shenton's line, and this is an X-ray of the hip bone. It is a curve that can be drawn on an AP view of the pelvis. This line continues from the inferior border of the femoral neck to the inferior border of the pubic ramus. Inferior border of the femoral neck till the inferior border of the pubic ramus. Myotomes. Myotomes is a group of muscles which are innervated by the ventral root of a single spinal nerve. Perthes test. Perthes test is a clinical test for assessing the patency of the deep femoral vein prior to the varicose vein surgery. It is named after the German surgeon George Perthes. The limb is elevated and an elastic bandage is applied firmly from the toes to the upper 1/3 of the thigh to obliterate the superficial veins only. Arthroscopy. Arthroscopy is a minimally invasive surgical procedure on a joint in which an examination and sometimes treatment of the damage is performed using an arthroscope. Arthroscope is basically a kind of an endoscope that is inserted into the joint through a small incision. It is also known as a keyhole surgery. Well, that's all for this video. Thank you so much.